Another day and more proof that the Singh upswing is continuing. Every day since the English language debate, and sometimes multiple times per day, we've seen new polls, and nearly without exception, they're all showing substantive NDP increases. Clearly, Jagmeet Singh and the message of the NDP is reaching Canadians, and they like what they're hearing. This is crucial because we're just coming up to the early voting period. We're less than 2 weeks away till the 21st of October, election day. And so it's a great time to peak. It's a great time to build that momentum. You don't want to peak too early. You don't want to peak too late. It may well be the case that the NDP has peaked at the right time. And there's a few factors here that I want to emphasize because I think they're very important. The first factor is that Jagmeet Singh and the NDP are taking votes from both the Liberals and the Conservatives. I've noted this on the channel many times, that both Justin Trudeau and Andrew Scheer and their respective parties are not impressing Canadians this time. Neither of those leaders and their parties are reaching Canadians in a positive way. And so both of them overwhelmingly are campaigning negatively, either against one another or in relation to the other parties. It's not so much what they're going to do for you, but scaring you about what another party might do, or scaring you about how voting for Party C will help elect Party B, what have you, right? Like the Liberals saying, it's not so much that we're going to give you something good, it's that we're the only ones that are not the Conservatives. And that sort of messaging isn't working. Both the Liberals and the Conservatives are in a downward trend in pretty much every major poll, with some polls right now putting both of them below 33%, below a third. And what's happening is that this is, at least in English Canada, due to the rise of Jagmeet Singh. A narrative is often that, Liberal voters can vote for Conservatives or NDPers, but Conservatives don't vote for the NDP and NDPers don't vote for Conservatives. But it needs to be said that most of this recent polling has indicated that Jagmeet Singh's rise has been followed by declines in both Liberal and Conservative support. Because in both of those parties are there people looking for strong leadership and bold ideas, and the NDP is offering both of those things. And a lot of people will think that NDP policies are not popular with Conservatives, but that's not true. For instance, the wealth tax the NDP supports is supported by a majority of Conservatives. Less Conservatives than Liberals or NDPers, of course, but still a majority of Conservatives support the idea of a wealth tax. So it's not crazy to see Conservatives go from Andrew Scheer to Jagmeet Singh. It's not crazy at all. This is showing real growth potential for the NDP because according to Angus Reid, they are the second choice of Liberals, the second choice of Greens, and if you exclude the very, very small PPC, they're the second choice of the Conservatives too. So when people are moving, they're moving to Singh and the NDP. This is vital. It shows again that people want something different. They want what Jagmeet Singh and the NDP is offering. They want something special. They don't want the tired, old, cynical, negative Liberal and Conservative politics. They want to vote for something, not against something. And they're seeing that in Singh right now. That's why they're responding positively. And it should be remembered that it's about this time in almost every election where the Liberals kick their strategic voting mantra into overdrive. But it should be stated very clearly that, again, if you look at this Maru poll, and if you look at this Nanos poll, two of the more recent polls released, the NDP's increases have come at the expense of both Liberals and Conservatives. You cannot ignore that fact. So for Liberals saying that the NDP rise will elect Conservatives, that's not necessarily true. The NDP's rise will elect NDPers and will prevent either of those parties from getting an unaccountable majority where they won't listen to the needs of Canadians. But it should be reminded again that it was the Liberals who broke the electoral reform promise. That promise was predicated on ending the negative politics, ending the negative voting, ending the strategic voting games that Canadians have had to play. So in no way should the party that kept the broken system be allowed to use that broken system to hold progressives hostage and to act entitled to your vote. And finally, I want to say that while people across demographics are growing in their support for Jagmeet Singh and the NDP. It is young people above all that are showing the movement in such high numbers. And I think that's really important because young people face so many struggles today. High costs of education, low wages, insecure workplace, contracts, lack of benefits in the workplace like dental benefits and pharmaceutical benefits and pensions. So young people are really struggling, in addition to the fact that they will bear a bigger brunt than older folks in terms of climate change, because they'll be living into, the years where climate change intensifies unless we do something to stop it. And so young people have looked to the Conservatives and they've looked to the Liberals and they don't like what they see, but they do like Jagmeet Singh and they do like what the NDP is offering. The NDP is offering a new deal to everybody, but specifically they have a new deal for young people and helping them face the challenges that young people are being assaulted with every single day. That's why so many of them are looking in the orange direction. Jagmeet Singh is speaking to them in a language they understand and in a language that resonates with them. So for those people who have concerns about the future generations, those parents who have concerns about their kids, those grandparents that have concerns about their grandchildren, those aunts and uncles that have concerns about their nieces and nephews, and you want to say, well, how can I help? Well, let's take a page out of their book. They're moving in a direction that they feel will help them in their future. And I think that we should trust young people in having knowledge about what they need and what their hopes are and what their fears are. So out of solidarity for the next generation, we should move with them and vote for the NDP. Again, I want to underline that this movement is coming at the expense of both of the old tired parties and both of their leaders, Trudeau and Scheer, whose character and honesty and integrity have fallen under serious questions during this campaign. They want to see something bold and positive. They want to vote for something and not against it. Now, this isn't to say that the Liberals and Conservatives are running on nothing. Of course not. They have platforms. They have ideas. But it is to say that the overarching narrative of those parties is stop Scheer or stop Trudeau. But the overarching narrative for Singh is let's build a better Canada by taxing the rich to forge a just and equal society. And that speaks to people. You might not ultimately agree with that, but you have to admit that it's positive politics. It moves us in a direction forward rather than a bicker fest that you saw on the debate stage between Mr. Delay and Mr. Deny. That's why this Singh upswing is happening. That's why the NDP is rising. That's why everybody, but especially young people, are part of this upsurge. Let's get behind Jagmeet Singh. This Thanksgiving weekend, talk to your friends and family and, your neighbors. Talk to them. Let them know that there's a bold, exciting option, that they don't have to go to Scheer and they don't have to go to Trudeau. They don't have to vote for the guy whose primary platform piece is that he's not as bad as the other guy. They don't have to make that negative choice this election. The NDP is the path forward for all those who want a just Canada. Let's make it happen, folks.